Hello and welcome to Yaya Consulting, where we turn gibberish into clear communications. I am Kevin Kibido and I am the Chief Human Resource Officer, and our consultant team had drawn up a proposal that will make the UWG Health Services into becoming the best in the community. First, you'll get to meet the team members that you'll be working with on a daily basis. Then we'll go over the company background and how we became who we are. Then we'll go over the needs in order to improve your department. Then we'll talk about some of the communication methods that are going on now and how we can improve them. Finally, we'll give you our recommendation on how to improve communications with students, how to create awareness of the health center, and revamping the website. And after all of that, we'll answer any questions that you may have. With all of this being said, if you will give your attention to Malik, who will be introducing our team and company.
Hey, my name is Malik Walker. I'll be introducing the team for the presentation, and afterwards I will be explaining the company background. My position is Chief Financial Officer. I graduated with a master's in finance, and my role is company background and core values. And I've been at Yaya Consulting for 10 years. This is Ariana Shell. Her position is Chief Executive Officer. She graduated with a master's in economics and management. Her role is Statement of Need, and she's been at Yaya Consulting for 10 years. This is Emily Shepard. Her position is Chief Operations Officer. She graduated with a master's in management, and her role is internal communications. And she's been at Yaya Consulting for 9 years. This is Daniel Kaysen. His position is Chief Marketing Officer. He graduated with a master's in marketing. His role is external communications, and he's been at Yaya Consulting for 8 years. This is Cal Galusha. His position is Chief Technology Officer. He graduated with a master's in management information systems. His role is external communications, and he's been at Yaya Consulting for 9 years. This is Kevin Kibido. His position is Chief Human Resources Officer. He graduated with a master's in management. His role is external communications, and he's been at Yaya Consulting for 8 years. Now let's get into the company background at Yaya Consulting. Yaya Consulting was established in 1990 by a group of founders who had a purpose of turning gibberish into clear communication. The group of consultants were able to work together to come up with their core values, which consist of trustworthy, consistency, reliable results, flexible, precise information, team-oriented. These core values have led Yaya to becoming the best consulting company to this day and has allowed them to work with many great companies. Companies like Polo, Walmart, Nike, Levi's, and Gucci have all reached out for Yaya's support. Once business got started with each of these companies, our expectations were to increase advertisement, improve growth, and make an impact on society. And their communication improved drastically by us increasing their face-to-face meetings and improving their usage of technology communications through things like social media and online meetings. Now I'm going to pass it off to Ariana to talk about the health department's statement of need.
Hi, I'm Ariana, and I will be discussing the needs for the University of West Georgia Student Health Center. Here at Yaya Consulting, we understand how important a university's student health center is. We believe we can improve the effectiveness of the University of West Georgia Student Health Center, which will help with the student body overall. Everyone gets sick. It's natural. However, not many students know of all the medical support that the University of West Georgia Student Health Center provides. According to a College Student Speaks survey, the two top critical accommodations to student success revolve around health issues. These two accommodations are excused absences for treatment and medical leave of absence. Sick students who receive treatment right on campus for a low or no charge can heal quicker and get back to class sooner. The health center also provides more information and help towards mental illnesses such as anxiety and depression. Easy access care to this kind of help really impacts the physical and emotional health of the student body in a positive way. If the University of West Georgia Student Health Center can better their communications and spread their word of what they can provide, more students can benefit from their support, which will ultimately result in better grades. The Student Health Center is vital to the student body here on campus. Healthier students lead to better grades and higher graduation rates, which everyone benefits from. The University of West Georgia Student Health Center is not currently reaching their max in student care due to their issues with communication. These issues stem from their website, social media, flyers around campus, and more. Without good communication across the campus, students will miss out on events, free clinics, and could never be informed of the help that the Student Health Center can provide for them. Our team of consultants have put together a recommendations proposal that will be discussed further in this presentation. Once the Student Health Center improves their communication methods, students will be more aware of the opportunities provided and can utilize the medical support that they need personally. This will help the Student Health Center reach their goals in assisting the students to achieve success. To recap, the University of West Georgia Student Health Center needs better ways of communicating to the student body in order to fulfill their hopes of helping as many people as possible reach success in a healthier manner. I'm now going to turn it over to Emily, who will discuss the University of West Georgia Student Health Center internal communications.
Hi, I'm Emily and I will be discussing the current internal communications for health services at the University of West Georgia. The current forms of internal communication are email, phone calls, and face-to-face meetings. The health services currently use email and a phone as the two main ways of communication. Face-to-face meetings is the least used form of internal communication due to the fast and convenient use of email. With email, it can be fast and convenient way of communicating, but it can also be a slow way of communication. It relies on someone being able to respond in a fast manner, but that sometimes is not the case. Phone calls are another easy way of communicating, and it does not involve waiting around for a response, but it does involve having time in your schedule to take the call. Face-to-face meetings may not be the most convenient way of communication, but it is the most effective way. Meeting face-to-face creates a comfortable and safe place for clients and employees, and they are more inclined to trust you. We have done a comparative analysis on the internal communication preference for the health services at the University of West Georgia and Columbus State University. Currently, West Georgia uses email as its main source of communication, with it being at 60%, while Columbus State uses face-to-face meetings as its main way of communicating internally at 40%. Columbus State has a smaller main office building, which allows it to be able to communicate face-to-face more often. Both schools use the phone communication to the same extent. While West Georgia does tend to rely on email more, Columbus State tries to use all sources of communication to effectively reach all clients and employees. Now I'm going to turn it over to Daniel, who's going to talk about external communication.
Now we will discuss the current external communications for the health services at the University of West Georgia. As of now, the current forms of communication include phone, email, posters, flyers, and banners, and through social media. As of now, phones and email are the quickest and easiest way for the health services to get in touch with students. But on the lower end, social media is the least used form of communication, as many students do not know about it as it has not been fully implemented and created by the health services. Currently, the most used form of communication used by students and members is through phone. Approximately 44% of students use this as a means of communication. The second most used form of communication is through email, with around 36% of students using this. On the lower end, posters, flyers, and banners get very little interaction by students and members, with only 13% of students actually using and communicating this way. And at the very bottom, only 7% of students will use social media as a form of communication. After conducting a thorough SWOT analysis, we now look into the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to the health services. When looking at the strengths of the health services, recently a new healthcare building has been implemented and built, which is not only larger, but will allow for them to add more staff to the facility. On top of that, the health services offer high-quality healthcare in an efficient and caring manner. When looking at the weaknesses of the healthcare services, one problem is the recently built healthcare center has been put in a new location, which can make it difficult for new students and current students to locate them. Another issue is the financial challenges that are related to the mandatory student health fee. When looking at the opportunities of the health services, by improving their social media presence and updating their website, this will in turn allow for improved communication and for students and members, and will allow the health services to reach out to the students in a more efficient way. The threats that may come to the health services are by not conforming to the needs of the students they offer service to. This in turn will result in a loss of business to the health services. I will now hand it off to Kyle, who will discuss the recommendations for the health services.
Hi, my name is Kyle Galusha, and I'm in charge of recommendations, and I'm going to be telling you about how we can improve the University of West Georgia's health department. Starting with the recommendations, we believe the first thing to do is improve the website. The homepage is a complete mess. We just need to make it easier access for the students here at West Georgia, and we need to create more efficient ways of searching for information. We found a good example with the Columbus State University's website. It's clear and concise and easy to use. The second thing we decided to do is to create better marketing for the university. We thought of flyers and other things to put up around campus. For student involvement, we decided that the use of games and raffles would be a good idea just to get students to come around and show their faces more around the health center. Now, we decided mass email and text alerts is a great way to get out quick information to the students with a quick of a phone. Now, with social media, there's not really an Instagram or Twitter that kids can just get on, that they're always on, and just find out information or what's going on currently with the health center. And that's a big problem with this department. Some things we thought that were very important from the last slide is the mass emails and texts to the students at the university. A lot of students at the school constantly get emails and messages about parking, transportation, and other things that aren't as important as the health center, and that needs to change. Another big thing we decided was the raffles and games would create huge involvement for students around the campus and would be a great way to connect them to the department. I'm going to be passing it to Kevin now for the conclusion. Thank you for your time.
In conclusion, our proposal from Yaya Consulting can guarantee a more interactive atmosphere for health services and the students. With our marketing strategies that are derived from experience, student surveys, and statewide statistics, we can promote efficient communication and awareness. Thank you for the consideration of our proposal, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have now.
How much time and effort will be needed to put the recommendations in place? The two most time-consuming recommendations are improvements to the website and creating effective social media pages. Improving the website will take a few days at most if it's worked on throughout the day. And setting up effective social media pages will only take a few hours. Other small recommendations, such as putting up flyers around campus, are recommendations that will mainly be utilized when an event is coming up. These smaller types of recommendations will only take about an hour to implement when the time comes.
When looking at the long-term potential compared to other departments, your department is always evolving because there's always new research about health services that are coming out every day. On top of that, your department is able to add on to brand new technology and services and staff members that can fully implement your services to its fullest advantage. Other departments, they're not being as paid much attention to as health services at this point.
We receive is, what are the risks involved if we use your recommendation? The only risk we see is with the supply and demand side. Can the health service department effectively deal with the influx in patient traffic? With more publicity comes more awareness, and with that comes more people recommending other students to use the health service department over outside clinics. If the demand cannot be met in a timely manner, then people may go elsewhere and spread word that the service is too slow or that things are never in when needed. So, our advice is stay well staffed and keep plenty of items in stock at all operational times.
Why would working with your consulting company be a smart choice and/or investment? Yaya Consulting would be a great choice/investment because it allows your company to expand and strengthen their weaknesses. It helps companies get out of their comfort zone of traditional ways of communication and teaches them how to adapt to future communication tactics.
Why do you believe your recommendation of the use of social media will increase our student or member relations? Well, social media plays a huge role in student lives, and I know that the Health Center is currently trying to be more active on social media by using sites like Instagram and Twitter. Using a site like Instagram gives students easier access to the Health Center and a way of finding out upcoming events and promotions going on. Students are more inclined to check Instagram to see upcoming events for West Georgia than to actually look on the West Georgia website. So it would be very useful and an effective way to reach other students.
Further question, how can your recommendation of improving the website help increase our student member involvement for future growth? We feel like more efficient and easier ways to access information online will reflect in a better involvement with students, like in our earlier example of Columbus State's website.
Now that we are finished with questions, feel free to grab a business card and pop socket. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope to hear from you in the future.